Hey guys, it's Sam, and welcome back to Likewise. I am coming at you completely solo this week because Issa is away at camp for the week, so we thought it would be a fun week for me to do a little mini-sode, and this topic is so exciting. I have been wanting to talk about this for a while, so I'm glad that I've kind of been able to sit on it for a while and add notes all the time, every time I have a new thought about it. So I actually have a lot to talk about today, and yeah, I'm just so excited. Let's just get right into it. So, it's kind of funny. I just wanted to call this, I'm in my reputation era, living in my reputation era, all those kinds of things. And it's not because of the actual content, lyrics, meaning, anything going on in the reputation era from Miss Taylor Swift specifically, but just the overall, energy, vibe, everything that the whole look of it gives off. It has this whole, level of confidence almost, is how I would describe it. And so I just always think about, being in my reputation era. It's kind of like the, whole new thing of people saying I'm in my villain era. And that's just how I like to think of it, and how I've been thinking about it to myself. So for a couple months now, I've been thinking to myself that I'm in my reputation era. I'm doing so many things that past me from just a couple months ago would be looking at and being like, wow, you've really overcome a lot of obstacles that you have had in the past. And those are all things fully going back to just self-acceptance and having a level of confidence that, you can still struggle with these things, but you're not holding yourself back out of the fear of how you even perceive yourself, but also more so how other people perceive you. So that's just a little sprinkle of my thoughts on that. So I just wanted to talk about some of the things I've learned, or some things that have helped me learn to feel this way and to have this new confidence and self-acceptance over the last few months that I just didn't have figured out before. And I want everybody to, start feeling some of the things I've been feeling. And I want other people to experience such a positive journey of growth that I'm starting to see myself experience. And everybody moves at their own pace. Everyone has different things that work for them, but I think it's only right that I share with you what's helped me. And so, going back to the iconic quote from a long time ago that Issa and I always repeat from our That Girl episode with our friend Bailey is, sometimes being okay with yourself is enough. And that's just kind of our go-to mantra over at Likewise for just self-acceptance overall. We always preach self-love and being so self-positive, and sometimes you need to just be kind of neutral. Sometimes it's okay to just be okay with yourself. And you don't have to, be preaching every day that you love yourself so much, because we all have hard days. That's really the end of the story there. And so some stuff that I've talked about before on the podcast, I think a long time ago, especially in, I think it was old co-host interviews, and maybe even our confidence episode. But there comes a time, and for me, it's really been since partway through college, that you just recognize there's so many ways that your body grows and changes to support the life you are currently living. Think about the fact that, me, I'm not going to say we, because I don't know who you are listening, but for myself, it was just kind of that realization that I'm an adult now. I'm not a child anymore, and my body is going to reflect that. And that was something I struggled with when I was kind of going through that second puberty that a lot of us women have. And I just realized, wow, I really am an adult. It's kind of I thought I already went through puberty, but now my body's changing more, and I don't understand what's happening, and why can't I be that same size, that same shape, all of that as I was when I was 17 or whatever. I loved my body then, but then you also, I don't know, sometimes you have those moments where you're but did I? Did I love my body then? And usually the answer was probably no. You probably found something about yourself to still nitpick back then just the same way you kind of do now. And so I think that was one of my biggest realizations, and something that I've heard other creators talk about, and it's just helped me a lot. And, I still sometimes have thoughts of like, wow, like you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, when did this change? When did I start looking like this? And I feel like this kind of developed more through COVID too, because, this is something I learned before, right around the time we were starting the podcast, I think, was when I was first like, wow, yeah, I'm not a child anymore. This is my adult body. And that's so amazing that my body reflects the age I am. My body reflects that I've lived through life. I've had so many life experiences. And I think it really developed more just from the general aspect of growing up, being an adult, being a woman, not being a child anymore, to now, even like through COVID and, mental health, physical health, all the changes that came with all the effects of COVID. A lot of us saw changes in our physical bodies. And for a lot of us, that could have been weight gain, weight loss, all of this. And, this happened to coincide at the same time as a lot of our just general adult growth. And I really love the message that a lot of people have about like, feeling insecure about the way your body changed through COVID is so hard, because like, think about what your body carried you through and how immense of like trauma for a lot of people that was on your body to bring you through, to carry you through. Like, it was survival for a lot of people. And so sometimes you just got to think about that, get yourself in that mindset, and be content with where you're at now. And it's okay to still have goals. You can recognize there's still somewhere else I want to be, but I'm grateful for the body I'm in now, and I'm so thankful that it's carried me through my life up until this point. So that's just kind of rolling straight into some of my first ideas. And I'm not going to talk all about fitness and physical appearance necessarily for this, because I do think a lot of it is mental. A lot of it is overcoming where you have your own obstacles and things that like make you hesitant. And a lot of that is your mindset and things going on up there mentally, and not always just about the physical aspect of confidence. Myself and so many people, confidence, our first thing is like, it's physical. It's how you see yourself. It's being so confident in just being perceived however. It seems like you don't care. That's so amazing. It's amazing to have the confidence where it seems like you don't care what other people think. So yeah, I guess rolling into mindset matters a little bit. That's funny. I meant like mindset matters as in like, we're going to talk about things, matters being things that relate to mindset. But then my first point was that mindset matters. So like, yeah, like I said, it matters. And it really changes a lot. Because when you're trapped in like a negative mindset, that's going to really influence a lot of how you're going to feel about yourself. You're going to feel guilty. You're going to put a lot of pressure and shame on yourself to do better, and you're gonna only further propel yourself down a negative slope or spiral. And so one thing I saw actually like yesterday, this is like one of my newest notes, was that one of the best ways you can like show up for yourself and maintain a level of like confidence and really like get in a routine and create new habits is by making sure you're keeping promises to yourself. So I guess just like example, maybe you want to be more active and you want to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. Well, you need to make sure that you create an idea of what that schedule looks like, and then also ways to hold yourself accountable to make sure you're keeping that promise to yourself. And like, okay, well, I'm not going to go Monday because I want to watch The Bachelorette with my friends. That's my situation. I don't go to the gym on Monday because I'm going to go watch The Bachelorette. Okay, that's awesome. So then I'm going to go Tuesday, and I'm going to plan to go Wednesday, Thursday. But say I get to Wednesday, this is literally me right now. Say I get to Wednesday and I don't really feel like going. That's okay. And I don't need to feel so much shame over the fact that I choose to stay home and do something else with my time rather than go to the gym. Like right now I'm recording the podcast. That's pretty productive. And I just need to tell myself, like, I will go and I will feel better and more mentally present and stronger tomorrow. Tomorrow rolls around and I go to the gym. And, I'll still feel so good that I'm even going just that one time. So I think it's good to come up with like an idea of a schedule of like, I'm going to go on these days and these days will be my off days, but also don't feel so bad when you're not sticking to it as much as you maybe thought you would. And as long as you're still checking those other boxes of like, what are those promises I'm making to myself, you'll get to the end of the week and you will feel fine. Okay, I already started talking about the gym, so let's just get through the rest of the gym talk and then we can leave it behind. So I think a big thing for me was trying to find confidence around going to the gym, confidence being at the gym, and just all of that good stuff. Overall confidence at the gym. Because I'm not a gym girl. My whole life, I did dance. I did not do much outside of dance in high school or anything. And I've just never really had a strong, like, workout routine, things I really liked to do. Like, I've tried things, but nothing really, like, matches the kind of activity I liked or would want to enjoy doing. So it's definitely been a journey. And in college, I feel like the times that I did have a consistent workout schedule and I went to the gym a lot, I don't know if I was even really at my healthiest. And I've always just been a cardio girl at the gym. And that's like nothing to be embarrassed about. I know a lot of people get like nervous and fear judgment over the fact that they only go to the gym to walk on the treadmill, use the elliptical, any of that. And really, the reality is that, like, moving your body, period, is so good for you, and you can be so healthy and, like, doing so many good things for yourself just by moving your body in small ways. So, big point is finding what will help you not fear judgment. And I think for me, I don't know anybody at my gym besides the fact that I go with my boyfriend. So that's definitely helpful. And sometimes there's people that I'm like, I see them here often, but like, they definitely don't know me. We're strangers, whatever. But I found that like listening to music that I really love, or honestly podcasts or audiobooks at the gym, have really helped me like not fear judgment, because like I really just put myself in a different place. Like if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm so toned in on that. I am like invested in it, and I just really feel like I'm in my own world. And at the end of the day, we're all here just to be in our own world. Like everybody at the gym is just there for themselves, really. And so I can assure you that for the most part, people aren't paying attention to you. So like the fear of like other people judging or perceiving you at the gym is definitely a very internal thing, because think about yourself. Are you thinking about that with other people around you there? Probably not. You're probably like, oh my gosh, my workout is so hard and I'm really sweating, and thinking about like, honestly, thinking about what I'm doing next after while I'm there also helps. Like I'll be like, wow, after this I'm gonna go have the best everything shower. I'm gonna feel so good. I'm gonna do my whole hair routine, use my products and everything, and that's helped me a lot. And I definitely think I've come a long way. Like the first couple times, like I felt kind of nervous, and it helped having someone with me, because I don't think I'd have an easy time going completely by myself now. So it's definitely just small steps. And I know I talked about this a little bit, but just, yeah, overall being proud of moving your body in any way. And something I really, really struggled with was having a lot of guilt when it's been a long time since I've gone last. Like, this is happening again recently. I hadn't gone in like a month, and I just went Sunday and Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday. And I had a really good workout last night, and every time I take a really good break, right away I have like a pretty good workout like the second time I go back, and then after that I kind of struggle a little bit. And I think the second you step back in after not going in a long time is when you should like leave all that guilt behind over not going for a long time. Like on Sunday, I had a really tough time on the elliptical, and I tapped out before I got to 30 minutes, and I wanted to do 30 minutes on the elliptical for some good cardio. And I had to just, tell myself, it's okay you couldn't do as much time as you wanted. You were at least moving your body. You haven't done this in a long time. You can't shock your body. You can't instantly do the same things you could have done a month ago. You need to get back into it. Be glad that you stopped at 20 minutes instead of 30, because maybe you're preventing yourself from hurting really bad tomorrow if you push yourself too hard or something. And I just find some grace for myself in the fact that, reminding yourself your body needs rest to get through everything that you could possibly be going through, even just day-to-day life tasks, general things. Your body really does need rest. You're putting your body through so much, expecting it to like live your whole day with you. And so you also just got to treat your body with kindness. And if you feel like you need to stop, you need to stop. And so I just let myself know, hey, that's okay. Proud of you for moving your body at least for this long. And baby steps. Baby steps are very okay. And it's okay. This was my big baby step. I noticed one of the first couple times that I started going to the gym with my boyfriend, some of the times we would be on like a section of the rows of treadmills where I could see myself so clearly, like straight ahead, all the way in the front of the room in the mirror. And it's a very far distance. It gets a little bit of distortion, and it's just not amazing for the self-image, for the confidence. Like, I just found like when I was on a treadmill where I could see myself in the mirror, I had a hard time not looking at myself and not looking like down at my legs while I would walk and start thinking negative things about my body. And so for a while, I find that I have a way better workout if I'm on a machine where I'm not seeing myself in the mirror while I'm on the treadmill. I'm not distracted or tempted to look at myself because there's just a wall in front of me. So then all I look at is the TVs up above, or I'll go on my phone for a second, or I'll just kind of be very in my head and just watching the time on my treadmill as I'm walking. And that's really helped me a lot to get over the idea of like perceiving the way I look, because if you're focused on how you look at the gym, that's where you get more concerned over what other people think. And if you aren't even thinking at all, not seeing yourself, not thinking about what you look like, then you're probably not thinking about what other people think of what you look like. And the best thing you can do for yourself is think and remember that we are all individuals. So we're all on a different journey, and you can't compare yourself to the people around you. And I liked this quote. I don't know where I grabbed this from. I wish I wrote it down, but just the only person I need to compare me to is my yesterday self. And even then, you don't need to compare yourself to your yesterday self. You can just think, she was cool, I want to be better than her. And I like this a lot because sometimes, like I said, I'm a cardio girl through and through. Sometimes I go to the gym and I see some girls that are like lifting, doing all this stuff, and I'm just looking at them and I think that they're so cool. And I love that they enjoy what they do at the gym and that they're really into lifting and all that jazz. But I just can't. I don't have like a desire to do it. I don't think I would really enjoy doing it. That's not saying I would never try it later down the line. Like, there's some things that I'd be willing to try. But I think sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. Or like, I wish I even knew how to start or whatever. And I just remind myself, like, we're all on our different journey. And I love the journey I'm on. I love going to the gym and just having a fun 3:30 and leaving. It's so fun for me. And it makes me feel good. I don't have an extreme amount of free time in my day to like stay longer and do other things because I have things at home I need to get done before then I go work full time the next day. So just kind of thinking about why your journey is the right path for you and keeping that kind of individual mindset when it comes to your physical health and working out, fitness, everything. Especially because I also really struggle with, since I go to the gym with my boyfriend, he stays there longer than me and I leave to go home, but sometimes I think about the fact of like if he mentions like that he lost a couple pounds or something and I'm like, what the heck, like I've been doing all this for like a couple months and I'm completely stagnant, like I'm just staying consistent, I'm keeping myself at the exact same weight, but obviously I know weight doesn't matter and it's not showing your progress really, but you know, he'll reassure me and be like, but I can see the changes, like I can see that like you just seem a lot better, you seem happier, you seem healthier. And I'm just like, yeah, but like it's just hard, you know, when you're like happy that you're losing this weight and I'm not feeling like I'm getting anywhere. But I also have to remember that we're doing very different regimens. He is also a man and has a very quick, 24-hour hormone cycle, and I have a very long one. Our bodies work in completely different ways, and just remembering that and not comparing my progress to his, because we're very different people, we're doing very different workouts, and we have very different body functions and processes happening internally. So it's going to be very different of an experience for me than him. All right, let's start to roll out of appearance a little bit and physical things. One of my favorite podcasts ever, goes without saying, with Seffi and Wing. That's hard to not say without twice. And they said in an episode that you can't hate yourself into being better. And that really just resonated with me so much, because I think for a long time my problem was I wanted to pick apart every little thing that I didn't really like about myself or that I wanted to improve and change. But the problem is you just become so focused on that one thing and thinking about how much you hate it that you're not actually taking the time or putting in the work to change it or make it better. And that also goes back to being content with yourself. You, like I said earlier, you can still have parts of yourself that you're maybe insecure about, and you don't have to be all self-love all the time. And that also doesn't mean that you have to fake love parts of yourself that you don't necessarily like. You don't have to pretend you don't have things you hate, And so more than having fake self-love or hating these things about yourself and thinking it'll help you make yourself better than doing all of that is that you can recognize where your insecurities exist and why they exist. Think about the beauty standards that are making you have these insecurities, and think about the pressure that these beauty standards are putting on you and creating this feeling or responsibility to be or look or feel a certain way. Think about where all these things are coming from. Do you hate it because you just don't like the way it looks, or do you hate it because you know that socially it's more acceptable to be a different way or look a different way? And so I think it helps to reflect on where your insecurities come from so that you can just kind of have more of a level of acceptance of yourself. If you can remove yourself from it, it's easier to get more neutral about it. Maybe it's not so much you hate it, you just hate the way it makes you insecure of what others think. So, even further outside of appearance, looking at growth and confidence and acceptance and just being okay with yourself. on a more like behavioral scale, I constantly have to remind myself that we grow and change so much, and sometimes I get into bouts where I really ruminate and stress and get really mad at myself over how I once responded to a situation a couple years ago, months ago, whatever, and having a hard time beating myself up about it, But then I have to remind myself that maybe, like I've grown and changed and I would respond to that differently now. And so I can't convince myself that I'm a terrible person for something I did in the past that I've learned from and have different views on now. And even if I wouldn't act differently, I recognize that I can't harbor this type of guilt over things that I can't change. What's in the past is in the past, and I have to be able to recognize that if I'm not proud of behaviors, even something I did yesterday, I can still hold myself accountable to being better in my actions now and moving forward. And I think this is something a lot of us get stuck on, especially not looking at ourselves but at other people. We kind of sometimes we can give ourselves grace to know we've grown and changed, but we struggle to accept that other people that we view as being in the wrong ever, like we fail to accept that they also grow and change, maybe at the same rate, maybe faster than us. Maybe they're still growing and changing and they're not to the point they want to be at, and they're a little bit behind us on realizing what could have been better in the past. But just not beating yourself up over things that happened in the past and not having regrets over wishing you handled the situation differently. You could wish you handled something differently, but I think it helps a lot to be content with it and know that because of how you acted then, that has put you where you are now. It's helped you grow, it's helped you learn, and if you reacted perfectly to something, you would have never gone through the character development that you got through or that you went through to be where you're at now. And I think it's way better to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow than to never make a mistake in your life. All right. I feel like I have just been rapid fire going through all these thoughts, and I know some of my thoughts were a little messy today, but that's okay. Because this is a topic that it gets a little messy, it gets a little contradictory, because it's like, give yourself grace and love yourself, but also know that it is okay to not love yourself and to just be neutral. Or it is okay to hate things about yourself, but knowing that hating them isn't going to help you move past that and grow and change and work on that. All right. One last thing. I had put up some question things on Instagram asking for people to give just like random thoughts and ideas for the topic. And what I really liked was from our friend Bailey. We talked about, I'm literally by myself. Me and Isa's friend Bailey that I talked about at the beginning of the episode, who we've had on before. You should go listen to that episode if you haven't. And I just asked for thoughts or questions and things on the topic. And she gave me the good idea of talking about when you're like new at a job. Whether that's like you're an intern or you're just starting an entry-level position, you're new at a company, any of that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's such a good idea. So I want to talk about that. And because this is definitely something that literally everybody does at some point in their life. And it's something I haven't talked about yet from my list of notes. And it's something that I've done in the last year. And so I really think one thing that's important is that it's easy to feel like almost a little bit of like an imposter syndrome of like feeling like you don't deserve to be where you're at. And so I think in my experience, like a big thing has been like reminding yourself that like I'm here for a reason. People saw something in me to bring me here. And sometimes you can get anxious about like knowing your place, knowing when it's appropriate to offer ideas, or, fearing like rejection of offering your ideas because you're like, I'm new, like I don't know everything. Like these people have been here longer than me, they know way better than me, so I should just keep my mouth shut. But honestly, I think people have so much more respect for you, and you will find yourself feeling more and more confident if you just allow yourself to speak and speak freely. And if you have an idea, share it, even if it's ridiculous. And I think it all starts with like practicing with like when you identify which coworkers and friends you feel really safe around at work, and you feel good just chatting about life with, chatting about everything with someone who maybe isn't like in your immediate team, and like maybe isn't your boss, I don't know. But like find someone that you feel good sharing your ideas to, because it can help to like practice using them as a soundboard and like getting them to give you feedback and help almost like pitch your ideas to this person, because maybe they'll help you feel better about then talking about them in the long run to people that are maybe higher up in authority to you, or you're more scared of them rejecting those ideas. That was kind of random. I really was just looking for an example, and that was really random. But I do think it's important to, remind yourself you're there for a reason, and knowing that like practice makes perfect. Well, not perfect, but like, there's only one way to get better at what you do or things you want to do, and that's to practice. And I think for me, something that I was able to grow a lot from was like taking any opportunity to shadow somebody else, and take every opportunity to like look at what somebody in another position is doing, even if it's something you have like no desire to do in the future. This is like how you come to know what everybody else at work does, and people will look to you with questions, they'll trust you, people will like value your opinion and your ideas if you've clearly shown an effort to get to know all sorts of different functions of various jobs at your workplace. And that's something that I think I've learned a lot about myself from, and I've been better at like time management and organization, prioritizing, all kinds of different things that are just generally good at work. I've been able to like hone in on those skills and grow them and develop them by shadowing other people and figuring out what they do, even though some of it is stuff I never wanted to do. But I think that's definitely something that helps you feel more confident in your job, is just being more familiar with what other people do and how they do it, and maybe adding a new little skill to your tool belt at work by seeing just a little bit of what they do. And then the next, and maybe my last thing about being new at a job, is asking questions. Because I think a lot of people, and me included at the beginning, a lot of people are scared to ask questions because you don't want to feel like you're asking a stupid question. You feel like it makes it seem like you're not confident. But I actually think you seem more confident when you ask questions, because it shows that you value whoever you're asking the question to. You value their opinion, you trust them, and you're showing that you want to do the job right, and that you're curious, you want to know more. There's just like only good things to come out of asking questions, more than there is bad. And some questions can definitely be annoying, but at the end of the day, people will be more glad that you asked questions than not asking the questions and doing something wrong. Which, like I said earlier, it's good to do things wrong too. You learn from your mistakes. And then I guess this will be my last thought on this. Finding what makes you feel confident at work. And so for me, I work in fashion, so it kind of goes hand in hand. But I feel really confident when I dress up. I feel really good when I'm like wearing something fun and I know other people will like it or whatnot. Like, I just feel good. I feel like I've got a reason to have some more pep in my step on days when I'm put together a little bit more. And that's just my thing. I know a lot of other people are look good, feel good people, and that's just how I am. So I think finding things like that will help you feel confident throughout the day at work. Maybe it's that. Maybe you'll feel more confident if you don't go on your phone a lot while you're at work. Maybe you just have your watch on. Maybe you'll go on only during your breaks or whatnot. Maybe you'll feel more confident if you make a goal to yourself to greet however many people when you get to work in the morning. I feel really good when I'm walking in and I see people in the hall and I say, hey, good morning. Just like set like little goals, standards, different things for yourself that make you feel good throughout the day. And that will help you stay motivated at work as well. Maybe have some little candies at your desk. That helps me sometimes. Or just like spreading the love. I just feel good when I do stuff like that. Like write people little sticky notes and all that good stuff. So yeah, that is my little 2 cents on that. That's all my notes. And for some reason, I thought that I would actually talk for longer than I did, but I'm glad that I kept it to a good 30-ish minutes. And I'm so glad that I was able to do this week. And I would love to talk more about some of these things with Issa because I know it's good to hear about different experiences because the way I've experienced these things and how I think of them is going to be completely different from you. Or maybe the same, and it's very relatable. But I know we all experience these things differently, and so it would be cool to see how and what Issa thinks about a lot of these things. But until next week's episode, you can catch me being super active over on the Likewise Instagram at likewise_pod. And be sure to follow us on whatever streaming platform you listen, and also rate and review us on wherever you're at. And yeah, see you next week. Well, not see you. Weird. Anyways, I'm excited to record with Issa again, and I will talk with y'all next week. Bye.